instructions for making different kinds of heart baskets will be attached to this video. There will be a link. You can also find instructions on the museum's website at vesterheim.org. So there'll be an instruction sheet for the circle heart basket, which I'm going to demonstrate and show you how to make. And there will also be an instruction sheet for the more traditional heart basket or Eula curve, and you can try that out at home. Hi friends, welcome to Barnetimen. God Jul, Merry Christmas. Yule, that's a really interesting word, isn't it? And it doesn't sound like anything that we might say in English. So Yule is a Norwegian word, and today it means Christmas, but long ago it referred to a different tradition. And it's a great way to show how traditions change. You may have noticed, if you're living in the Northern Hemisphere, that it is getting darker, less light every day. We are working our way toward the darkest day of the year with the least amount of daylight and the most sort of nighttime, and that's the winter solstice. And long ago, people in Norway celebrated the winter solstice. In fact, there are a lot of people that celebrate that today too. But long ago, the tradition was to celebrate the winter solstice because it was the sort of last day of the darkness, and each day it would be getting lighter and lighter. And the celebration was Yule. Well, fast forward a few hundred years, and today Yule means Christmas. So I'll wish you again, God Jul, Merry Christmas. Well, there are lots and lots of traditions that relate to Yule or Christmas in Norway, and many of those were brought to the United States by immigrants from Norway long ago. So we have here at Vesterheim Museum incorporated many of those traditions into the things that we do here and the things that we share. So I've decorated this tree here, this Christmas tree, with many Norwegian holiday traditions, and I want to share a few of those with you today. Well, since we're in a very dark time, or it's getting darker in the Northern Hemisphere, one way to celebrate this season or this time of the year is to bring light into it. And so at Christmas time, you might have a few or several julelys or Christmas lights. And I have some of those on the tree, and that may look a little unusual to you because many of us today who celebrate Christmas, the Christmas holidays, we don't necessarily put candles on our trees, but we light our trees with electric lights. We plug those in. But long ago, no electricity, and you would need to have candles or oil lamps to light your houses, and then candles to light your tree. So this is a kind of julelys or Christmas light, bringing light into this kind of dark time of the year. Well, this is a big Christmas tree here, and in Norwegian, it's a juletre, a Christmas tree. I think it's really interesting that Christmas trees aren't originally a Norwegian tradition. That tradition comes to Norway and other places around the world from Germany. So isn't that great? You can take traditions from others and make them yours. And so that's what Norwegians have done, and people who celebrate those traditions here in America. They have taken those traditions and made them their own. So a couple of, or a few of the traditions that they have made their own on the Christmas tree or the juletre are all of these decorations. And in Norwegian, the word is julepynt. And that means decorations. And I think if you look closely at the tree, you'll see so many of these are handmade. That's a tradition that many people still do today, making their own ornaments for decorating Christmas trees or maybe other holidays. And maybe you do that. Maybe you celebrate different holidays by making your own decorations. Well, I want to share a few of these decorations with you. And so we have the candles. We talked a little bit about that, so incorporating some light. And we also have a number of ornaments that are made out of straw here or some kind of plant material. And one of these here is a sort of bundle of wheat. And this is a Eula neck, sort of a Christmas bundle. And this sort of represents a larger bundle of wheat or a sheaf that you would put out in your yard. You'd stick this on a pole, and then it's to feed the birds. So how great is that during this season when birds can't find a lot of food on their own? You can help them out by feeding them. So maybe you can make your own Eula neck, or maybe you can just put out some bird seed for them. So this is representing a Eula neck. These are some other straw ornaments here too. We've got a beautiful straw star. And these you could make. You just need some straw and soften it up with a little bit of water, and then you can start to bend those fibers into different decorations. So this one is a star, but this one here is a really interesting shape. This is a goat, and at Christmas time, it's a Eula book, a Christmas ram or a Christmas goat. And you will find this shape, this tradition in many Scandinavian countries. And sometimes the goats are very small like this, and sometimes they're huge. They might be even as big as a house. And wouldn't that be really interesting to see something like that? So this is a goat, and it's made out of straw, and it's a Eula book. We also have a lot of paper ornaments here on the tree. And I've got some fun ones here that we've made out of paper. These are Julenisse. Now, Nisse is an elf-like creature in Norwegian folklore. And many people long ago believed, and maybe some people do today too, that the Nisse lived on farms and kind of watched over things, taking care to make sure that you did all of your chores, to make sure the animals were well fed and whatnot, and would protect the farm. Now, at Christmas time, it's very important to feed the Nisse. So in Norway, people wouldn't and don't leave the Nisse cookies like you might leave Santa Claus, but rather a big bowl of rummegrøt. And rummegrøt is a sour cream porridge, but make sure you put lots of butter on it for the julenisse. So this ornament here are several julenisse hooked together into a paper chain. And that might be something that you could make at home. I also have some ornaments on the tree that are baskets, and they're in a heart shape. And these baskets are called julekurv, or Christmas baskets. They could also be hjertekurv or heart baskets, but for Christmas time, julekurv. And these are made by weaving two pieces of paper together, and then that forms a basket that you can put little treats into if you would like. So that's a nice little thing to do. What I really love about these baskets is that you can make them any colors. It's great to do two different colors so that you can see the pattern. You can make them with different cuts to create different patterns here. And you could even use these year-round. This is a great tradition that you can use to decorate lots of times of the year, like maybe Valentine's Day, or maybe you just want to send a friend a nice little reminder that you are remembering them. Well, sometimes these decorations can be just a little bit complicated, even for me. So today I want to show you a simpler version of a heart basket that's super easy for everyone to make, and then super easy to give to others or to decorate your tree. Well, let me show you how to make one of these simpler heart baskets using circles. First, you'll need to make a pattern or have something that is a circle that you can draw around. So I have a pattern that I've cut out of cardboard to use, and great things to use are things like cereal boxes. Those are nice and thin, but also sturdy. But you could also use a lid or a coaster. So you'll need that for your pattern. You will need some wrapping paper. And we like wrapping paper because it's kind of thin, but it's also sturdy, and the colors are also great. So find yourself some wrapping paper. You will also need either some tape or some glue. And of course, we're going to be doing some cutting, so some scissors are important, and maybe a pen to do your tracing. So those are the materials that you'll need for this project. So I'm going to first take my pattern here, and I have already cut some squares of the paper to make it a little bit easier, but I will just draw around my circle, and you will see that now I have a circle on there. And I cut that out. You're going to need 2 circles for each basket, and maybe a little bit of scrap for a handle, and we'll have that later. I have already cut out 2 different circles, and the rest of the assembly is pretty easy here. So the first thing that you want to do, if you have wrapping paper that has two sides with different colors, decide what you want on the outside. I think I'm going to be fancy today, and I'm going to put my stripe on the outside for this basket. So circle, and you just fold it in half and crease, and you can set that aside. And then you want to take your next circle and fold it in half and crease that. Now comes maybe the only really tricky part here. We have to make these circles join together and hug one another. So you want to have the straight side in toward your hand, and the other straight side here towards your hand. And then you're going to, it's kind of like a taco, you're going to open up one of the circles, and you're just going to insert the other one in, and there you go. So let me do that again. So I've got taco, my other taco is going to be closed, and I'm just going to insert that in there like that. And look, you're pretty much finished. The next step is to do a little bit of gluing because you want these sides to stay down. So I'm going to take my glue stick. If you have liquid glue, if you want to use tape, whatever works. So I'm just going to put a little glue here on this side. Put them in, stick that down. I'm going to turn it over and lift up this side. Put a little bit of glue there. Stick that down. Okay. And after it dries, you'll be able to open it up, and you'll have a basket here. It's not quite complete because we do need to have a handle. And I have a long strip of paper that I've cut. You might want yours a little bit longer depending on how you're going to attach it or fasten it to your tree or where you're going to hang it up, because you're going to fold this paper strip in half like this, and that's going to form each side of the handle. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the ends here, either the ends here or just inside on these little edges of the basket. But I want this on the outside, the colored side of my handle, so that shows. So I put a little bit of glue, going to stick this in here, down. I'm just going to hold it just a little bit, make sure that sticks. I'll turn this over, put a little bit of glue on this end, and stick that inside. Hold that down till it dries. And then you have yourself a heart basket.